It's time. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. So you can sit down and be ready. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I guess let me open the windows a little bit more. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely one today. We are doing a full album reaction. Frank Black, Teenager of the Year, release date of 1994. We're listening to this because it was a recommendation and sponsored by, I got you right here, Dustin. Dustin, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the suggestion and the recommendation as well. Sorry, I'm still like getting myself into position here. Anyways, now, at first I was going to mention and say I've never heard of Frank Black, don't know a thing about him, don't know a thing about this album, never even seen it, which is mostly true. However, Frank Black is the lead singer and the guitarist of the Pixies, which we've covered Doolittle. So, not completely unheard of, not completely. So, decided to dive into this one. Hope you guys are having a lovely one. It is morning right now. It's a nice morning. It's sunny. It's bright. Plants are getting sunlight. They got water. Everything's going right. And the plants got water. I got water. And my phone just fell down. Anyways, I appreciate you guys stopping in, of course. Press the like button before we even dive in, before we even start. Why not just get that out the way, first of all? And that's it. Most of the songs on the album are like under like 2 minutes or so. So, for example, the first two tracks, Whatever Happened to Pong and Thalassocracy, we're just going to let those two go together because most of the tracks on here are relatively short. So we'll kind of take it as we go. Friends, thank you so much for being here. As always, this sip of water with a little ice, because I don't like cold water, but this one, I need a little something. This is to you. Let's go ahead and jump into the first track. Change. Blown harmonica.
My brother and me used to play it down the bar. Taking money from guys more used to playing the cards. And a pedal, side to side, side to side, a pedal, side to side. On a machine. Now virtually everyone's singing a popular song. Yeah, but I still believe in the excellent joy of the Pong.
I like that riff. It almost has a Zappa-esque quality to it. Oh. The way he repeats certain lines is hilarious. Got that grungy kind of yell. He has that down so well. Okay. A lot of the Pixies music that we've heard is almost like it acts as this kind of precursor to grunge in many different ways. And with this solo material, what I'm getting from these first two tracks is kind of a continuation in that theme and in that avenue. But it almost moves into like an alternative rock kind of sound, definitely par for the 90s, but with a little bit of a progressive touch, which I guess, you know, a little bit of that post-punk energy kind of sneaks its way slowly into here. I like his singing a lot. Obviously, we've heard Pixies, right? So we're familiar with him. But here, it sounds like he's much more closer to a grungy kind of sound with the way he's singing and yelling, the delivery, especially with Pong. And, you know, when he gets into that low kind of almost growl-esque kind of note there, which was really, really cool. He's also playing the guitar, which you heard the solo here on Thalassocracy, which it sounds like it's trying to play the notes, and then it's like earring off to the sides a little bit. It just has this very staticky, not distorted, but discord kind of sound. Almost walking into the line of dissonance, but not quite. But I think that that's really cool. And the whole thing has this, like I said, to me, it has this kind of interesting sound where like it feels progressive, not like prog rock, but it feels progressive within the genre from some of the time signatures, some of the sounds. There's a harmonica that comes in randomly in the first track or in the track earlier. And then in the first track, as it's, you know, entitled Pong, you have those little keyboard sounds that begin to slide up in there and almost gives it I'm not saying it does, but it almost gives it a kind of Greenfield from the Stranglers kind of sound in there when those keys come in, which is really, really fun. These songs seem like they're going to be like quick, powerful pieces, in, out. I really love the riff in the first track as well. The first track just has this sort of uncanniness to it, a little bit of quirkiness to it, which I like. The second one was a little bit more straightforward. Let's dive into some of these lyrics here really quick. My brother and me used to play it down at the bar, taking money from guys more used to the playing of cards. And the paddle to the side, to the side, to the side, to the side, the paddle. I like the way that he repeats a lot of words in these tracks. It kind of like builds up. And of course, Pong, ball in the machine. Now, virtually everyone's singing a popular song, yeah, but still, I believe in the excellent joy of the Pong. Listen, Pong was before me. Like my first like big video game was like Mario 64, so call me spoiled in some ways. Pong seemed fun though, simple. Now, if they take it H.G. Wells, well, I'll be on the first flight to a time before the Kong. Whatever happened to Pong? So, like, he's just looking back, like, whatever happened to it, you know? Like, H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, A Time Before Kong, King Kong. You know, everyone's looking back, and he's just looking back on what's nostalgic to him. Whatever happened to Pong? Let's look at the next track. Now, thalassophobia, I know, is the fear of deep waters. So Thalassocracy would be ruled by deep waters, right? Well, it says right here, Thalassocracy is a polity that has power over the seas, be it a seaborne empire which has very little presence inland, like many Mediterranean civilizations throughout history, or states which derive their power from the sea, like the European empires during the Age of Exploration. Okay, I got it. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I thought it was like a made-up word for the song, to be honest. Since it isn't so great, since you learned karate chop, 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 you're walking mocks and I'm just swimming in this slop, slop, slop. You wave your wand at me and make me dance flip, flop, flip, flop. I want to sing for you and make your head go pop, 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 pop. The Inuit man had not so much a Caesar, he had provision. Say you're spraying in the windy and I'm just pissing off. I'm literally deaf down here from your can philosopha. Softly can you hear me through the sucking of your quaff, quaff, quaff. I'm Thalassocracy and you're just roaming off. The Inuit man had not so much as Caesar, he had provision. I'm deaf down here. Like he's in these deep waters, so he can't hear philosophies. Softly can you hear me? I'm Thalassocracy and you're just roaming off. Like Romanov, Russian family, right? That's where Anastasia comes from, if I remember correctly. Like he's deep underwater, ruling from the deep waters, and you're just, perhaps he's saying on land shallowly ruling, but I rule like what's really going on. If you'll allow me, let me just continue to read this here. In the context of the song, the meaning is a bit more obscure. The thalassocracy in question seems not to be any kind of human naval supremacy, but rather the power of the sea themselves. Black has described the song in the album, Press Kit, as being about under the sea where angry beings think their thoughts. And later, about mankind, Earth Gaia theory, stuff like that. I got nothing on that one. I have no idea about that one. We're going to move on into the next track, which is I Want to Live on an Abstract Plane. Here we go. I like the abstract plane, like, you know, geometry-wise kind of abstract, but also literally like a plane, like a field. All right. That's so grunge.
I never saw the ground or the sunset rise. I wanna live on an abstract thing. I'm building a frame, place to put my 10-yard stare. Thinking of that paint, painted in plain air. I wanna live on an abstract thing.
Definitely is a lighter side of this place.
I need a new address. I want some new terrain. Is it north or south? I wanna live on an abstract plane.
There's a lot of unique elements and sounds that are brought in. Like that.
I could sit on the roof, on top of that abstract house. See my abstract you, an abstract mouse. I wanna live on an abstract thing. I need a new address. Tell me I'm not
Like those chords, adding some mystery to
Is
it.
it up or down? I wanna live on an abstract thing.
Nice little ending here. I like that drum ending there. This was like the most accessible song so far. I'm gonna let it lead into the next track, Kalistan. It's a very chill line. The bass has a kind of post-punk energy to it.
I took 3 days to drive down one street. The radio on, tuned to the big fleet. Invisible planes, a crack in the concrete. That's just what some people say. Hey, hey. I put down my blanket on cigarette butt beach.
You get a lot of variety in just his singing.
Man, he was doing okay. He's making his last stand on old bottles and cans around there, Kalistan way. Hey, hey. Used to be 16 lanes. Used to be Nuevo Spain. Used to be Juan Wayne. Used to be Mexico.
Johnson over there.
Used to be Navajo. Used to be Yippee, I don't know.
That long note. reminds me of another thing.
I play some pachinko, I play pachisi. And Santa still making it breezy in the valley of Tar that once was LA. Hey, hey. And my best friend, he's the king of karaoke.
Of what? Oh,
He struck up a chord and took it away. Out of the pan and into Japan. Around there, Kalistan way. Hey, hey. Used to be 16 lanes. Used to be one lane. Used to be Mexican. Used to be España Nuevo. Used to be Navajo. Used to be Yippee Yay. I don't know.
I like that. It's a very nice melodic solo here at the end, but with some power as well. I loved that little solo we had at the end of Kalistan. That was like a very satisfying end to this track. So with the previous track on Abstract Plane, that one to me has the most accessible sound so far out of this album. I really like the way that he sings on that one. Like you get a nice picture of his much higher kind of voice. Not like, ha, but like just tone-wise. The way he's singing there is much higher. It's very catchy. And what I'm getting actually so far, you know, just listening to the first 4 tracks so far, is that he creates these really quick, gotta be honest, kind of like perfect for accessibility, but still being unique kind of sounds. He creates these little 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute tracks that have like sensational, quick, and efficient messaging, music, like musicianship, and like it's just putting a quick song together. And he's done this 22 times. Like it's just very, very well constructed and thought out, what I've heard so far, and not sacrificing artistics for it. Like with Kalistan, I love how this track, all right, this one reminds me of The Church. With that very cool rock and roll sound, lots of bits of melody here, you know, definitely by the guitar. The chords that were being struck at one point kind of had a little bit of a dark shadowness to them, but never, you know, taken away from the light of this track. This one feels to me like a journey. And he's mentioning different streets and different places, so in some capacity, there is a journey involved of sorts. I really liked Kalistan, though. This was you know, we're way early, but this was like the track that really got my attention. I just really like the way it moves, and it has this kind of traveling dusty trails kind of sound to it. But let's look at the lyrics for Abstract Plane. Let me pull that one up here. I've had it with this town. I never saw those shifting skies. I never saw the ground or the sunset rise. This is true. Typically, you won't see the sun. I want to live on an abstract plane. I'm building a frame, a place to put my 10-yard stare. Thinking of that paint painted in plain air. I want to live on an abstract plane. I need a new address. I want some new terrain. Is it north or south? I could sit on the roof on top of that abstract house, see my abstract view, and abstract mouse. Any new address? Tell me I'm not insane. Is it up or down? I want to live in an abstract plane. So I from this track and a little bit from the next one as well, he's dissatisfied with his current situation. Maybe it's not literally like where he lives or whatever it may be, but just dissatisfied with this plain view, basically. And he's looking for an abstract plane, which is a little bit contrasting, you know, plain, abstract there, you know, definitely opposites. But I like the way and the wordplay that he uses here in trying to find that abstract plane. And, you know, painted in plain air, he's thinking of the paints and sitting on his abstract house, seeing an abstract view, even an abstract mouse. So I like the way that, like, he's planning to get to this destination, whatever this may mean for him. Looking at the next track here, Kalistan, which I imagine is a road, perhaps. I took 3 days to drive down one street. The radio on, tuned to the big fleet. Invisible planes are cracking the concrete. That's just what some people say. So, I mean, maybe it's just because I just listened to the 2 tracks, but he also does say invisible planes, cracking the concrete. Could be related to the previous track in some capacity. I put down my blanket on cigarette butt beach. I saw the old man. He was doing okay. He's making his last stand on old bottles and cans. Round here, Kalistan Way, hey, hey. I think that Kalistan Way is just like this street. That this is the one street that he's spending this time on, observing, probably going back to where he used to live. He saw the old man, his father. He was doing okay. You know, used to be 16 lanes. Used to be Nuevo Spain. Used to be Juan Wayne. Used to be Mexico. Used to be Navajo. Used to be Yippee-A, I don't know. Went in from the weather when I got wheezy. I played some pachinko. I played pacheesy. Listen, he's playing Pong. He's playing pachinko. He's having a good time. And St. Anne is still making it breezy in the Valley of Tar that once was L.A. And he's my best friend, and he's king of karaoke. He struck up a chord, and he took it away. Out of the pan and into Japan. Around here, Kalistan Way. Hey, a lot of wordplay, internal rhymes, quick, like nice rhythm schemes when it comes to the actual writing itself. The pachinko, pacheesy, you know, making it breezy, wheezy. That city haze gets to you. So when I'm reading this, I'm reading it as him taking a nostalgic look back, perhaps a nostalgic road trip back to a place that he used to live, he used to be, and there's nothing else here. So that's how I read this. Let us move on into the next track here, which is going to be the Vanishing Spies. Where are those spies? Do you have an eye on them? Or perhaps it's because they're in a disguise. But these guys are spies. Please clap. It's my best work yet.
The Vanishing Spies.
It's very, like,
Something I
Nirvana-esque.
read.
Right?
A couple of eyes from out of the head, and all that was said. Well, that's just how some things don't materialize. Could be they broke and swam like a bird.
I like that.
Fear of spooking the folk with talk of the third, or maybe the third played a joke. Give me a blip, and I'll totally flip. Yeah, say it's nothing but sky, and I'll be a lonely guy.
This has a nice big emotion in there.
The Vanishing Spies, just something I read.
Those chords are so Nirvana.
Now there were 2 eyes sent out from the head, but all that was said, well, that is just how some things do not materialize.
See, like this ambience that's introduced is really, really nice.
Give me one little flip, and I totally flip. Yeah. Say it's nothing but sky, and I will be one lonely guy.
Love those snare rolls there. And that happened in the previous section. There's your race. It all is coming and pushing to the climax. Vanishing Spies felt like a centerpiece for the album. It felt like one of those like statement songs. Musically, lyrically, it just felt like this had a proper place at the table. And I don't mean just like at the table, I mean like in the middle of the table, like it was proper. I love all the keys and synth and organ eventually that comes in this one, because it really does change the whole atmosphere of this track on this one, and on the album, I should say. It's going to be Eric Drew Feldman, who's handling not only the bass, but also keyboards and, as it's mentioned, synthetics. Now, looking at Mr. Feldman, he's worked with Captain Beefheart, Snakefinger, never heard of him, Perry Ubu, obviously Pixies, PJ Harvey, just to name a few of at least the bands and artists that I know. And I really like the atmosphere that synth brings in at first, and then later on with the organ, of course, pushing everything up as Francis goes into his, guitar solo there at the end. Like, that was just a really nice climactic moment. I like how loose this track feels. And speaking of loose, something I've noticed about his delivery, which, by the way, this one sounded to me like Nirvana grunge-esque, right? With Francis's delivery, or Frank's delivery, he has like a concentrated, of course, as singers have to do. They have a concentrated and a focused way of singing and delivering the lines, but he also has a very loose way of doing that. Like he's not so overly concerned of trying to fit exactly in the box and hit the marks exactly right, precise. He's kind of loose with his delivery. He's kind of loose with his mannerisms and the way he sings, which I like. I think that brings a kind of slack into the energy that doesn't take away from that, doesn't take away from the momentum or anything like that. It actually adds a little bit more like character into the singing and the delivery, which I really enjoy here. And I like when he's singing like in a very kind of smooth, open voice as he's done in this track and the previous one. It's just really nice. Like, he has a very pleasant voice, but at the same time, he can definitely bring a little bit of those harder yells when necessary. Let's look at these lyrics here. The vanishing spies, just something I read, a couple of eyes from out of the head. And all that was said, well, that's just how some things don't materialize. Could be they broke and swam like a bird, fear of spooking the folk with talk of the third. Or maybe the third made a joke. I like this twist. Now the question is, what is the third? The third... No idea. Give me a blip and I'll totally flip. Like, he's a spy, but if you just give him like a little something, he'll flip right away. Say it's nothing but sky and I'll be a lonely guy. The vanishing spies, just something I read. Now there were 2 eyes sent out from the head. But all that was said, well, that is just how some things do not materialize. Like, they're not materialized because they're spies. They're vanishing spies. They're not supposed to exist. Burn after reading. Then he repeats the chorus there again. Vanishing spies are something I read. We're taking the perspective of one of these spies, and he's just saying like, oh yeah, just something I read about. A couple of eyes out from the head, like the eyes representing the 2 spies being sent out from the head of whatever organization sent them out. And all that was said, well, that's just how some things don't materialize. And they could have gotten away. Maybe the third make a joke. There's something about this line, the talk of the third, or maybe it was the third that made a joke. Is there a third spy? Could that be what it's referencing? Like, you caught 2, or there's 2, but there's a third. Or maybe it was the third that spread the rumor in the first place. That's I think if that's close, that's really good. If that's in the realm of what I'm thinking, that's good. I like that line. Maybe the third. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Let's move on to the next track. Speedy Marie. She's zooming. Sings like someone I can't get it out of my head.
My heart is cast. Speedy Marie, ahead of the now.
layer beneath the guitar. Very nicely.
Always it will soothe. Rarer none are the precious cheeks. Is the size of each sculpted tooth, each lip and each eye. Wise is the tongue. What's a perfect thought? And softest neck. Where always do I lay my clumsy thoughts? She is that most lovely art, happy art, my mind and my soul and my heart.
See, like, I love that synth line. For a track called Speedy Marie, the way that he's singing, it's just so much more relaxed and just chill. Like, it's just kind of chill, just very relaxed. I'm once again really loving not only his guitar playing and, like, you know, the riffs that he's creating, and why is it still up there? Not only the riffs and everything that he's creating, you know, with the guitar, but I really enjoy Feldman's playing under there. Like, I can't help but listen to the keys and the synth and everything from the very ending, that kind of, and how it really perfectly juxtaposed itself with the guitar playing at that moment, and how they would work very well in tandem. I just really enjoyed that specific, I guess, like, camaraderie, music camaraderie that they have together. It just feels really, really nicely, and it makes sense because, like I said, they were both in the Pixies, so they've worked together. But I just think that their relationship comes around very nicely in this track. Now, the song itself, it could be talking about a woman, it could be talking about a car. I gotta tell you, I'm not quite sure at this point. Or maybe neither. Had a bit part, an endless reel, it always played in slow-mo. But now it's fast, a spinning wheel. I know the dynamo, my heart is cast. Speedy Marie ahead of the now, she's better built, that's how. She's built for speed, Speedy Marie, Speedy Marie. Oh, yes, indeed, I said to me, and so I sing this romance. It's not enough, my liberty. There is a thing I want, I need, I love. Juxtaposed in each moment's sight, everything that I ever saw, and my one delight. Nothing can strike me in such awe. Mouth intricate shapes, the voice that speaks. Always it will soothe, wearing on the precious cheeks is the size of each sculpted tooth, each lip and each eye. See, like, you could even argue that he's personifying a car. Or it could be something else. I just feel like it's an item, like he's personifying something. Wise is the tongue, wet of perfect thought, the softest neck where always do I lay my clumsy thoughts. She is that most lovely art, happy are my mind and my soul and my heart. Or it really could just be, you know, about someone he loves. As he mentions, he says there's something I need and I want and I love. And I like the line, if it's talking about an actual person, where he says, the softest neck where always do I lay my clumsy thoughts. When you're laying with, you know, someone you love, or, you know, you're laying next to someone and you're laying in their neck or in their arms or wherever you're laying, like, you bury yourself. You open up in your thoughts, you show a little vulnerability, you open up a little bit. And so I like that line because of how he writes that and how the picture really comes to mind. I'm going to click on this annotation. Maybe we'll get some extra info. The first letters of each line spell out the name of Jean Marie Walsh. The subject of this song? I see it now. That is so... Who is Jean Marie Walsh? Should I know who this is? His girlfriend. I saw her name here. Jean. Thompson has an aversion to flying and spends his time driving across America with his girlfriend, Jean Walsh. Oh. Oh,
my.
That's pretty good.
Oh, my.
That's pretty good. I like that little secret, I like that. A little message in a bottle for you, or a message in the lyrics. I like that. Impressive. I don't think I've ever seen that done before, and if it has, I haven't noticed it. That's good. I like that, and I'm sure she did too. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Headache, which I do not have. Let's go.
This wrinkle in time can't give it more credit. I thought about my space, and I really got me down. I got me so down, I got me a headache. My heart's crammed in my cranium, and it still knows how to pound. I was counting the rings, and I fell into a sleep. I peeked to see if you were way back when. I was counting the trees until a day when
Like
there
the
was
second part of the
one.
verse before.
I'd hoped beneath a sleep is where that you had been. This wrinkle in time can't give it no credit. I thought about my space, and I really got me down. I got me so down, I got me a headache. My heart's crammed in my cranium, and it still knows how to pound. Well, I found you, Dusty. Maybe you can help me, and I can help you. This wrinkle in time can't give it no credit. I thought about my space, and I really got me down. I got me so down, I got me a headache. My heart's crammed in my cranium, and it still knows how to pound. I got me so down, I got me a headache. My heart is crammed in my cranium, and it still knows how to pound. This wrinkle in time, I can't give it no credit.
I'll put the harmonies after.
Thought about my space, and I really got me down. Got me down.
You can tell that was like the anthem or the single, or this was like not the radio fodder, but this would be the chart hitter out of the album so far. Even though you could argue most of the tracks could at this point. It's very repetitive. It's catchy. Credit, like the way he sings. I love the harmonies backing him up after that note. Credit, or whatever he's saying. I like that a lot. Once again, the organ makes a nice little appearance here. It's a nice, fun, open riff. This track, I will say, is my least favorite out of the ones we've listened to so far. Because even though I think it still performed well, it's just not as interesting as the previous tracks. I don't think it hits quite those high marks. Maybe it's sometimes because, I'm looking right now. Let me bring you guys up here. It was released as the sole single from the album, reached number 53 on the UK charts, and number 10 on Billboard Modern Rock Tracks. It sounds like a single. It sounds like that to me. And not that singles are bad. Obviously singles can be wonderful and great. But I do feel like it doesn't hit the same high marks. It doesn't sound as fun and quirky. It's good. I don't know about this, but it's good. I do think it's good. But in listening to the album so far and hitting some of these previous tracks, I think the previous tracks blow this one a little bit out the water, It's nice, but come on now. Great, one of the greatest pop songs ever. This Wrinkle in Time, can't give it no credit. I thought about my space, and I really got me down. I got me so down, I got me a headache. My heart's crammed in my cranium, and still knows how to pound. I was counting the rings, and I fell me into a sleep. I peeked to see if you were way back when. I was counting the trees until a day when there was one. I'd hoped beneath asleep is where that you had been. This Wrinkle in Time, can't give it no credit. I thought about my space, and I really got me down. And he repeats his lyrics again. Well, I found you. Maybe you can help me, and I can help you. That was really nice during the bridge. The drums and how they were playing. Very heavy on the toms. Then he repeats the lyrics basically again. Don't know what this one's about. Not quite sure what this one's about. I fell me into a sleep. I peeked to see if you were way back when. Like he's looking back in his memories to remember this person. Race, Wrinkle in Time, can't give you no credit. I thought about my space and it really got me down. He thinks about his space and it really gets him down to the point where he has a headache. He thinks about where he is currently in life and he's not satisfied. Kind of like the message of the previous track, perhaps. And if he finds this person, then they can help him in whatever capacity that might be. But on his own, he's not going anywhere. That's pretty close to what I think. That's pretty close to it. Actually, because I'm scrolling down to choose the next song. The song in line Wrinkle in Time was inspired by the science fiction book A Wrinkle in Time. The plot concerns a daughter's search for her missing scientist father, lost in another dimension after discovering a tesseract. That's a band and an item. I've never heard of it as an actual thing. A tesseract is bound by 8 three-dimensional hyperplanes, each pair of non-parallel hyperplanes. There's the planes again. Intersects to form 24 square faces, 3 cubes, and so basically this is tesseract. Okay. I just didn't know it was like a thing. A missing scientist. Okay. But that's not necessarily what the song is about, even though there's a lot of references to space, rings, rings made me think of planets. So I guess it could be argued that there's at least a hint towards it. I guess it could be. All right, next track, and that is going to be Sir Rockaby. Sir Rockaby. Sir Rockaby. Sir Rockaby. That island tone.
You got a sad face, you don't show it, and you're smiling it too. Even in deep, deep outer space, there's something for you.
That's a very gospel-y background organ.
I'm so rockabye, rockin' I am. I'm so rockabye.
I love all the guitars.
It'll give you Jim Jams. I'm just a real love diplomat. Won't give you no flim flams. I'm so rockabye, rockin' I am. I'm so both count.
It's a very chill.
And then classify. I'm standing here in this big swirl, singing this lullaby. I'm surviving, rocking around. I'm surviving.
Love it, Greasy's that falsetto. The chill and very mellow setup of this track is really, really nice. I love how calm it is. I like how he sings in the chorus. And I am not going to be able to do it the way I said, but I like how he creeps into that falsetto in the chorus, and he holds the note, he sustains it, bye, and then the next line, he quickly, Sir Rockaby, like the way that he holds the note, kind of slowing it down, and then quickly, rapidly, like just swings to that second line. I like that contrast in the chorus. It's very catchy. It's very nice. Love the organ from Feldman. On this track, I see that it's not going to be Francis who's playing, or at least leading the guitar. That is going to be Joey Santiago, of course, once again, another Pixies alumni. And man, does the tone he get on those, I can't help but think of like Vacation and relaxing on the beach kind of sounds that he gets on the guitar playing. Is very, very nice, very, very loungy, just relaxing and chill. And for a track like this, in which it does move in the very relaxed, kind of, not lazy, but just, it's okay, be okay kind of song. I really like that. And once again, they all come together very well. Singing is really done. This is a good track. Like, this is a chill track. It's quick. It relaxes. Gets you in. Gets you out. Wham, bam. Move on to the next one. Man, let's look at these lyrics here. You've got a sad face. You don't show it. And you're smiling it, too. Even in deep, deep outer space, there's something for you. I'm Sir Rockaby. And rockin' I am. There's something so simple about that I really like. The world is a rock that's spinning so fast to give you Jim Jams. I'm just a real love diplomat. I won't give you no flim-flams. Listen, you come to me, you're in the right place, baby. How many stars, girl, can you both count and then classify? I'm standing here in this big swirl singing this lullaby. Rockin' I am. He's standing here in the big swirl of the Milky Way. Talk about stars. And he's rocking I am. I don't know why. There's just something about the chorus. I really like how sleepy it sounds. Rockin' I am. I like that a lot. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Freedom Rock. If I had an Eagles sound effect, hold on. You got to say this correctly. Hold on. Hold on, I need a... different side. The drumming on this one.
pleasure of tones that belongs to the guy with no eye.
A lot of really awesome hits in here. This could be the best song on the album so far.
They tried to give me advice down at the record shop. I said, sit down, boys. This may come as a shock. What's all I listen to? It's all freedom rock. How can you feel that? 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 When I am free, woo woo. I am free.
I love the music.
My name is Chip, and I'm different. I don't conform. I wear a different uniform. I'm out of the
Love that slow down.
and so you are too. Let me sing about one thing that's clear. That nobody owns the pleasure of tones that belongs to a guy with no ear.
Now, if you're a fan of Frank Black, you're a fan of this album. I love hearing from people that already know the album, already know the band, whatever, because I love to see how like what I say lines up with you guys. Like you guys like to watch reaction videos because you like to see generally like what does someone else think of a song that I know? True. And I'm kind of throwing the same thing back to you. If I had a ball, throwing it back in your court. This Freedom Rock, I know we're almost halfway through, best song on the album so far. Perfect. This is the best song. I don't know where this song lines up with everyone else and what everyone else thinks about it, but this one so easily has snatched the proverbial cake from this album. I love the chords. I love the sound of it all. I love how energetic, but at the same time, like slack it feels. Right? I love all the hits in the chorus. The drumming. Let's talk about it because that's the biggest thing on this one. That's going to be Nick Vincent on the drums here. Just brilliant. Now looking at Nick Vincent, he has played with, of course, many people as well. He's played with Art Garfunkel, Carole King, Sparkle Horse. Never heard of them, but that's just a funny name. Hilary Duff, Hanson. He's played with a lot of people. His tenure with Frank Black included playing on this album and producing albums for him as well. Just absolutely incredible drumming. I love the rolls on the kick drums that are brought in during one of the more calming kind of moments with just the hi-hat and the snare and that basic groove. And then the way that he brings those rolls in with the kicks is just brilliant. I love how that felt there. All the hits, like I was mentioning, the following the riff, the da 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 ba gum ba da dong ga. Like it's just really dynamic, really pushing it forward. Excellent. I mean, I love everything about this track. The piano that's brought in, the actual structure of it is made great use of. Because this track, I think this might be the longest track on the album. It's the second longest track. So this track is 4 minutes and 16 seconds. The longest track on the album is 4 minutes and 41 seconds. So it's almost longest track, but it's making great use of all of its time as well. There's nothing wasted on this one. Perfect song. This is the best one on the album. Let's look at these lyrics though. My name is Chip and I'm different. I don't conform. I wear a different uniform. I like that. There's already a what's the C word? Not a contrast, not a conflict. Oh my God. Because he's saying I don't conform, I wear a different uniform. You're still wearing a uniform, so you're conforming, just not necessarily to what, others are conforming to. There's a C word I'm trying to think of. I'm out of the blue, and so you are too. Let me sing about one thing that's clear, that nobody owns the pleasure of tones. That belongs to a guy with no ear. Like, music belongs to everybody. Freedom rock, you can rock in the whatever way you want to. You don't have to conform. They tried to give me advice down at the record shop. I said, sit down, boys. This may come as a shock. What's all I listen to? It's all freedom rock. How can you free me when I am free? I am free. Then it repeats the lyrics there. Listen, music, the pleasure of tones, doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to everyone. You are free to rock how you want to rock. Caca, just like the eagle. There. And I like how he says that the pleasure of tones belongs to a guy with no ear. Because it belongs to everybody. You don't need to even hear for it to belong to you just as well as it needs to, or it can belong to anyone else, This is 10 out of 10 track. This one's so, easily the best on the album thus far. Let's move on to the next one here, which is going to be two reelers. Just two people fishing next to each other. What are they going to reel in? What are they going to catch? Maybe it's the big one.
A lot of people love that Jerome. Did you know he missed his comb? All his life was in pain, made us laugh, he never did complain. Brother Sam was more than okay. Return once more to save the day. Slick back hair he could keep, making a heap. If all you see is violence,
completely different.
well then I make a plea. Yeah, I'm in defense. Don't you know this speed? But really am. And for what it is, hear what my theory is. Some gibberish, it is so serious. Yeah, what we need is more silly man. Though underrated all the time,
this almost sounds punk.
Lewis was so very fine.
But it's not.
Without him, imagine, he could play the violin. Most important is Brother Mo. It was the one who made it so. He got a Joe, another Joe. He would not quit, he would not quit.
This is like the weird art punk kind of sound.
The two-reeler shows, 'cause you cannot do what you can't. And Mr. White,
But then it opens up so really.
and so it ends. The two-reeler shows, 'cause you cannot do what you can. If all you see is violence, well then I'll make a plea in their defense. Don't you know they speak for billions?
In listening to this album, there's one thing, if anything, that you can say and that I have to say, is that every song sounds so different and so unique. Like, it's almost like we haven't really repeated a certain sound for the most part. Everything really sounds completely new. Like, in going through this album, you're excited to see, okay, what are they going to come up with next? What's the next sound we're going to explore? Because this one starts off almost in like a hardcore punk, and then as quickly as it comes in, it immediately moves off of that and slows it down a little bit, keeps the very heavy distorted guitar, but there's always this sense of melody underneath it all. And then, I mean, it grows into kind of an epic feel at the very end, the horns coming in. I love the constant elevation between the horns and the guitar and how they just both kept on elevating and elevating into that big climax there at the end. Drumming is fantastic here. When it moves out of the punk part, let me back it up here really quick. When it moves out of like that fast-paced entrance and settles into the groove that it comes into in the verse, that was just so well transitioned into that. Let me see if I can...
Did you know he missed his comb?
I guess it's really right away. From this...
A lot of people love that Jerome. Did you know?
It almost has a Spanish flamenco kind of sound in the rhythm. And even, I guess, if you listen to the guitar, it kind of has a sound too.
He missed his comb. All his life was in pain. Made his laugh.
Maybe not flamenco, but like dun 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 dun. Like that is just really, really interesting. All those influences coming into the music, and then, like I said, I mean, that sounds completely different than I Went Too Far. You know, this big opening climax here at the end with some great guitar, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be, once again, Black playing guitar on this one. I'm just looking to make sure. This is track 10, and yeah, so it must be him playing on here. That is really, really brilliant. That's good. This track is so unique, like, compared to the other ones. This could also arguably, it may end up on a top list for me. A lot of people love that Jerome. Did you know he missed his comb? All his life was in pain, made us laugh, he never did complain. Brother Sam was more than okay, returned once more to save the day. Slicked back hair he did keep, making a heap, 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 heap. If all you see is violence, then I make a plea in their defense. Don't you know they speak vaudevillian? And for what it is, hear what my theory is. Some gibberish, is it so serious? What we need is more silly men. Okay, well, I get the vaudevillain, you know, the silent films, the comedies like Charlie Chaplin and whatever. I can't think, but you know what I mean, like those kind of entertainers from olden times. And he's saying what we need is more silly men. Though underrated all the same, Lois was so very fine. Or Lewis. Without him, imagine, did you know he could play the violin? Most important was Brother Mo. Okay, so we're talking about the Three Stooges. I don't know any of the Three Stooges. I don't know anything about them, but I do remember one is named Mo. He was, and Curly, right? He was the one who made it so. He got a Joe and another Joe. He would not quit. He would not quit. Is this a reference? I don't know. I'm just asking. Is this a reference to like, they had the Three Stooges and maybe one got replaced by another actor or so? And Mr. White heard bad report, and so it ends the two-reeler short. Because you cannot do what you can't, and Mr. White heard bad report, and so it ends the two-reeler short. Because you cannot do what you can't. If all you see is violence, then I make a plea in their defense. Don't you know they speak vaudevillian? Like, I'm imagining this is about the end of that industry, right? The end of silent films and the end of that style of physical entertainment, vaudeville. Now, let's... I do see up here. Oops, it's put me down here. Okay, it's literally about the Three Stooges, who did mostly two reel films. So that's what the two reelers is. There were actually 6 Stooges during their run. Mo Howard and Larry Fine were a part of the group during the whole time, but the third Stooge was, at different times, Shemp Howard, Curly Howard. I think Curly's the one I've heard of. Joe Besser and Curly Joe Dorita. All of them mentioned this song. So I was pretty right. I listen, sometimes I pick up what they're putting down. I didn't pick up a lot of it, but I picked up enough of it. Let's move on to the next track here. Never seen Three Stooges. Like, I've seen like clips here and there, but I've never like seen anything from Three Stooges. Let's move on to the next one, which is Fiddle Riddle. Riddle me this and fiddle me that. It's a dark rock steady.
Once today, man, on my face.
Regatta de Blanc.
Oh yeah, on my face. Gobbled him up, 'cause my taste leaves nothing to waste. Hear the riddle that I say. Hear the riddle that I say. What is fair is fair. That is fair and square to me.
It has a very interesting take on like this kind of
Piano it
reggae
marks
style.
the good pace. Oh yeah, the good
Sorry, there's a
pace.
car parking outside.
Don't know if it's right, but I like the bass. So turn up the bass. Hear the fiddles as they play. Hear the fiddles as they play. What is fair is fair, and the guitar player.
Once again, nothing repeats. Kind of weird piano playing.
No metal, no brick, was no trace. Oh no, was no trace. But machines moved on and still chase.
Why is the hi-hat like doubling on top of itself?
Particular place. Hear the riddle that I say. Hear the riddle that I say. What is fair is fair. That is fair and square to me, to me, to me, to me.
You have a little darker tone right here.
What is fair is fair. That is fair and square to me.
This is fun. I like how we, once again, moved into a completely different and distinct style here. Of course, moving into a little Regatta de Blanc or a little Regatta de Black.
Please clap.
I'm just saying. Which was, once again, another completely unexpected turn off the previous track. And even as the bass, the drums, and everything moves at this very cool reggae-esque kind of tone and rhythm, and it feels good, feels right. When his guitar playing comes in specifically on the second half to the ending, especially that little bit of the outro, it almost feels like he flicks folk into it just for a moment, just because of the way that acoustic came in. And I really like that, kind of bringing together those two styles there for just a moment, as brief as it is. Then there's those weird, quirky things that come in. When the piano begins to solo is a loose word, it plays in this, to me it sounds like a kid playing on one of those toy pianos where they're just kind of like, they're not really hitting the notes exactly right, they're just kind of playing around. And the looseness with which it's played reminds me a lot of that. Then there's a moment where the hi-hats start to double on top of each other and it sounded kind of weird, kind of off. but then it just straightened up right away. So there's little moments where like these weird things happen. I love the keys and the synths underneath the bed here, but there's these little weird moments that happen. I'm like, what's going on there? But otherwise it moves at a very cool pace. You could say that it runs at a cool pace. Cool runnings. Jamaica. Reggae. Please clap. I was stretching on that one. I was probably stretching on that one. Once stood a man on my face, oh yeah, on my face. Gobbled him up, 'cause my taste leaves nothing to waste. Okay. Hear the riddle that I say, hear the riddle that I say. What is fair, that is fair and square to me. Piano, it marks the good pace. Yeah, the good pace. Don't know if it's right, but I like the bass. So turn up the bass. I guess it's an upright bass now. I'm not going to play the clapping again, but you know what I mean. Hear the fiddles as they play, hear the fiddles as they play. So before he said, hear the riddle I say. Now hear the fiddles as they play. No metal, no brick, was no trace. But machines moved on and still chased. No particular place. Hear the riddle I say, hear the riddle I say. What's fair is fair and square to me. I mean, it's not really a riddle because he's saying what's fair is fair. That is fair and square to me. If it's fair to him, then it's fair. Do you guys hear that? You hear that crying? It's not a baby, it's my cat. My wife just left, and whenever the cat thinks that no one's here, she starts crying. So I'm just going to open my door so the cat can see. Sake. Hey, baby. You going to come over? She ain't coming. Okay. Well, she knows I'm here. Whoops, sliding in. Okay, we're back. You guys probably couldn't hear it on the microphone, but my cat, when one person leaves and she thinks that everyone's gone, she starts crying and she starts walking around going, meow, meow. But then as soon as she sees you, she's like, whatever, and you're here the whole time. I wasn't crying, you were crying. Get out of my face. All right, moving on to the next track here, which is going to be the longest track on the album, 4 minutes and 41 seconds, Ole Mulholland. Ole Mulholland. Ole Mulholland. A lot of cool riffage throughout this album.
Hey, sleepy monster in the sand. Time to get up and have a drink. Pacific Rim has a tank that thinks that she is really something grand. Let me tell you about when I was hanging out just in my dirty, running in the dawn right across my lawn. I saw a coyote. Ole, ole, ole from Mulholland. See the waterfall. Hooray, hooray, the elms are calling.
Sounds so unenthusiastic while he's saying ole, ole.
Ole, ole, ole from Mulholland. All
was cool
waxed
to
in
sound.
pride, I got a comfortable ride, and man, she could take us out across But does she have IQ for the moon?
I like that break.
The concrete of the aqueduct will last as long as the pyramids of Egypt or the Parthenon of Athens. Long after Joe Harriman is elected mayor of Los Angeles.
I like these two guitars. One riffing this almost off guitar distortion, and the smooth one here.
Ole, ole, ole from Mulholland. See the waterfall. And hooray, hooray, the ants are crawling down on Bradbury's Mall. Ole, ole, ole from
Going on.
Mulholland. Yeah, it's quite a spall. So hooray, hooray.
It's almost
the
Fripp-esque.
sky is falling down on Bradbury's Mall. Ole, ole, ole from Mulholland. Ole.
Okay, as the longest track on the album and the epic, you could argue, right, on the album here, it definitely lives up to its duration. It definitely lives up to its runtime. The riffing that goes on in the very beginning of this track is really good. This album has been very, very filled with a lot of memorable riffs, a lot of great guitar playing. This one's no different. And I like how that's all thrown out within like the first minute. Like we just get back to back to back big, nice riffs here. Just waves of it. And then after the first minute,
Time to get up and
just get into a
have a
little
drink.
regular movement here, right? And the way that he sings, it's almost from the perspective of like, I don't know, but we'll have to dive into the lyrics, but like a snaky little sneaky guy, just like, he's kind of seedy a little bit, a little untrustworthy in that voice. And then even when he sings the chorus of the track, Ole, when you hear Ole, I'm thinking of like, Ole, like, like energy and charismatic, and he's just saying, Ole, Ole, hooray, hooray. Like there's a little bit of, there's no emotion behind it, or at least there's no excitement behind it. So I feel like in the lyrics, there may be a nice contrast that we might run into. And by the way, I wasn't saying that in a negative way. I mean, like, I think that's going to be kind of interesting when we dive into the lyrics. Why he's saying it so almost mundanely instead of like, yeah, ole, like with that energy behind it. Then that break that it got into with the straight beat, kick on the floor, and that synth coming on top of the piano is really nice. I like how one moment you hear the guitar come in on the left side. I mean, it's going to be Frank, I imagine, doing both because none of the other guitarists are credited on this track. And the distorted big riff it's coming in, it kind of has that Pixies sound, that kind of punk sound where it kind of goes off a little bit. It's not so perfectly tuned. But then you have on the other side this very smooth, singular note picking that, they just kind of juxtapose one another really, really nicely. And then it comes up into this really nice climax there at the end. This was a good track. It doesn't beat Freedom Rock. I'm not putting the two against each other, but if I had to throw them both in the arena, one's getting the thumbs up and one's getting the thumbs down. Or however all that was supposed to go. Not that this song is a thumb down if I just had to pit them against each other. Okay, you know what I mean. Let's look at the... There it is, take it. Hey, sleepy monster in the sand, time to get up and have a drink. This is when he's saying like this. Pacific Rim has a tank that thinks that she is really something grand. Let me tell you about when I was hanging out just in my doty running in the dawn. Right across my lawn, I saw a coyote. Ole, ole, ole for Mulholland. See the water fall. Hooray, hooray, the ants are crawling down in Bradbury's Mall. I have no idea what this one's about. All waxed in pride, I've got a comfortable ride. And man, she could take us out across the salts and out of these faults. My microphone keeps falling. And on into Vegas. So slept a monster in the dune, woke him up, and then he drank. Pacific Rim has a think tank, but does she have IQ for the moon? Like, this is retelling this part, this sleepy monster that from the first person perspective is saying, like, get up and have a drink. Here, it's almost like the narrator is saying, so the monster woke up and, had a drink. The concrete of the aqueduct will last as long as the pyramids of Egypt or the Parthenon of Athens, long after Job Harriman is elected mayor of Los Angeles. I have no idea what's happening here. I'm going to have to read on this one because I have no idea. The song is about William Mulholland, who brought water to Los Angeles, California, allowing it to expand to be the most populated town in the United States. Okay, so it's a history lesson. Irish-American self-taught civil engineer who was responsible for building the infrastructure to provide a water supply that allowed Los Angeles to grow into the largest city in California. Why don't we should name a road after him? Perhaps it would be called Mulholland Drive?
Please clap.
Okay. So that's cool. So this is his ode in a sense to Mr. Mulholland. I got you. But what the heck is a dhoti? I could have kept you guys on screen. A dhoti is a traditional garment worn by men in the Indian subcontinent, typically a long unstitched cloth wrapped around the waist and legs, resembling trousers. That looks so comfortable. Those look like the coolest. Oh, that right there. This, I would love this. Those look like the most comfortable pants to wear, period. Are you kidding me? I'd be wearing those right now. Okay, let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Phaser Eyes. Pew, 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 pew. You know, I was listening to his guitar playing here, but also in some of the other tracks, and I kind of forgot to mention some of the times the way that he plays the guitar reminds me a little bit of Fripp in the kind of, like, for example, the very ending line that it sounds like something I would hear from King Crimson off of like Red or something like that. Just where my mind kind of went. This song, Phase Your Eyes, I like the guitar playing. I think that that's like the main thing that stands out to me. Everything else is a little bit nondescript. It kind of just goes and comes and goes. But I did like the guitar playing on this one. I really like the way that he plays guitar, the tones that he gets out of there, and the way that that guitar comes out of the riffs and kind of cuts through the music and the mood of the song here. Like, the song is completely fine. This is one of those songs where I'm like, it's fine. Nothing bad, nothing offensive. Just kind of, I hear it, I say, that was cool, and then I kind of move on. It's a little bit forgettable. So, yeah, this song's fine. It's completely fine. That's the only thing I have to say about it. Staring in or on into night, complete synapse. I switched on something I did not see. May I leave? I believe I might. This sweet collapse, baby, I cannot get me free. When you've got your phaser eyes on me. Listen, when those eyes are on you, you ain't moving. Driving on into where I do not know, shores that once were by the sea. I'm seeing something that is not there. It's so fast, it's slow. And it's playing with my memory. I think that that is such a cool phenomenon. When you're watching something and it's moving so fast that it looks like it's slow. And you've got your phaser eyes on me. Accustomed to the frequency of glow, you won't be frightened of the real thing after the show. I mean, those eyes are on you. Those phaser eyes are on you, and those phasers are set to stun because you're clearly stunned as this person's watching you. Accustomed to you're used to that glow. You're used to that frequency. You won't be frightened of the real thing after the show. I don't know, but you're stunned. Those phasers, pew 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 pew. They're set to stun on you. Moving on to the next track. Let's let the next two play since they're both under 3 minutes, one under 2. I Could Stay Here Forever and the Hostess with the Mostess. This is big and grand.
See the scheming bohemian looking soft in their cave, being together as their zenith. That's how they behave. Now we're hanging in tandem 6 trillion miles a year. How can direction be random when you're so near? I could stay here forever.
I like those drums. They're very big when they come in. This one irons that falsetto. Hostess with the Mostess. I'm curious to hear how this one goes. Just makes me think of a Twinkie. That's that punk energy. That very anthemic guitar coming on top of that big slow moment is really nice. What other cartoon is happening here? Okay, so Hostess brings back that punk sound, especially in the main riff and the main like half of this thing. But I love that slowdown that when the music opens up, then the guitar starts anthemically playing on top of that big open space. That feels very nice. That feels very powerful, and I like that section a lot. And I like how within this track, it's only 2 minutes long, how you first get that punk half, and then that open half with the soaring guitar solo. I like how within those 2 minutes, you get those two feelings, and it's quick, it's nice, it feels good, and it's satisfying to listen to. And then it ends with, it sounds like an old rerun of a TV show that you hear in your grandma's room over in the other side of the house. You hear like the TV. It sounds like like that. Now, I could stay here forever. I gotta tell you, Phaser Eyes and I Could Stay Here Forever give me the impression of this. Hold on. Let me just, if you'll allow me.
Newton's.
Just hear me. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just don't worry about it. I'm trying to do something, but it's not even going to be worth what I'm trying to do. Okay, so those two tracks. Here's what I'm getting to. We're listening to a 22-track album. Personally, I'm not necessarily the amount of tracks, but when it comes to like duration for an album, I think the perfect duration for an album is like 45 minutes average. Sometimes more is better, sometimes less is better. When I'm looking at a 22-track album, in my head, I can't help but think, and I think most people would think, there's going to be some amount of blank in this album. And I don't know how to say it in English, so I'm going to allow AI to tell me how this word is said. How do you say this, miss?
Filler.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. There's going to be some amount of filler. And I Could Stay Here and Phaser Eyes are like the two tracks that scream out to me filler, because I Could Stay Here Forever, I think the chorus is repeated a little bit, or that line at least is repeated ad nauseum, and I'm tired of it. I could stay here forever. I'm tired of hearing him say it, and the music's not that interesting underneath it. Kind of the same that I felt with Phaser Eyes. Here's where I'm really feeling like the filler aspect on here, where I don't feel like these songs are needed to be on here. I'd rather a tight album that everything's a star and everything hits, rather than a bloated album with a little amount of filler. And right now, I'm starting to see some lip filler in this one. Those two tracks. But Hostess with the Mostess, I did like the riffing in that one. I did like that one. Let's get into these lyrics here really quick. See the scheming behemoth licking salts in their cave. Being together's their zenith, that's how they behave. Now we're hanging in tandem 6 trillion miles a year. How can direction be random when you're so near? I like that. I could stay here forever, never bored of this. All aboard, I could stay here forever. You're in that perfect moment, and there's no reason to leave, nothing to set you off. We've got some bills to pay, and when we pay them off, maybe we'll get away. But if not, so what? I could stay here forever. Listen, the bills need to get paid. Sure, you're not wrong. But in this moment, let's just enjoy this one moment as long as we can. The scheming behemoths is how they behave. And then looking at the next track, the hostess with the mostest, as fluorescents do, they blink o'er the floor of her majestic halls. Yeah, they do. I hear surf on kazoo, and I march with the militia of the mime. Malicious are the times, malicious in the doors we all flew to see the great indoors. I like that, of her majestic stalls. Yeah, we flew. I like the switch of the line, you know, in the doors we all flew, like you flew in the door, to see the majestic, not outdoors, but the great indoors. Waves break on the shore of the zoo, and I see how Laurasia's shore has changed. Imaginary planes, imagine. I hit the mall on every Friday when it was the biggest in the world. The hostess with the mostest. Listen, we're going to the mall. I used to love, man. Okay, you know how malls aren't as much a thing now as they used to be? I used to love going to the malls. There's a mall near here, and when I used to go there when I was a kid. Just love it. Listen, you were a parent. You dropped your kids off at the mall. Said, "Here's $10. I'll pick you up at 5." I want malls to come back. There's the malls here. Like, surprisingly, there's 2 malls that are still constantly filled up in our area here. But man, the one that I love, it's just not. It's not the same at all. It is a dead mall, but it's still cool to walk into every once in a while. But they turn off the AC pretty much. All right, next track, which is Superabound. Superabound. Superabound.
You heard the sound.
Superabound.
There she blows, there she blows. You saw the wind a shining.
This is like
You don't know.
a little Tom Waits-esque.
You felt a tree that does fall. You don't know, that's okay. You don't have much taste for okay. I'm bored of the valleys, I'm bored of the peaks. So I bought a ticket to the freaks. I saw a chicken with 2 heads. Saw something else that was headless. Then PG said, see the egress. 'Cause you move
I like this kind of
with a
spunky
salesman
rock
speaks.
that it has.
Found, but I still got nothing to do.
I love Belgians.
A space is made by telephone. They thought time would be overthrown. And they compiled a wish list from Mars to ghouls to a dish kissed. I tried to talk to the issues, but it was the painting.
I love the playfulness of the guitar.
Superabound, but I still got nothing to do. Well, they thought it was a coup, but they still got nothing to do.
Some finger picking, chicken licking kind of good. I love that. Doesn't that remind you of Stranglers a little bit?
You will see my domicile. I had a built-in Decker style. The other day at the potlatch, come visiting was a Sasquatch. He said, although I'm a mismatch, could I stay just for a while? 'Cause the likes of us are few, yeah, and we still got nothing to do. I superabound, but I still
that was such a tight rock pop song. Like, it's catchy. The musicianship is very tight. I love, once again, Feldman's playing on the keys there. I cannot help but be reminded of Greenfield from the Stranglers. Like that tone, like that little line that keeps on coming back. I was loving that. And then especially the way that Francis is playing right next to him. Like, I know I've mentioned it earlier, but they just work very, very well together in the riffs and how he's playing on the lead there. I like the energy of this one, and the drumming was fantastic. It's catchy, but it's still quirky. This is a track that I could see like on the radio, but it still captures, I think, the identity of the band very, very well, rather than Headache, which I think is just fine. Like this one, I feel like has some character to it. It has some something to bite into, like a little something extra. But I love those keys in here. It's just so fun to listen to, and the guitar work. I just think it's really great to listen to what they pull off together. Let's look into this track, the lyrics here. You heard the sun today. Every time I touch my desk, it rattles. What's rattling? I actually don't know. All right. You heard the sun today. There she blows. There she blows. You saw the wind a-shining. You don't know. You don't know. You felt a tree that does fall. You don't know. That's okay. You don't have much taste for bouquet. I'm bored of the valleys and bored of the peaks. So I bought a ticket to the freaks. Say, I'm done with the highs. I'm done with the lows. I need something else. I saw a chicken with two heads and saw something else that was headless. Then P.T., like P.T. and Barnum, said, see the egress. 'Cause you move when the salesman speaks. I superabound, but I still got nothing to do. Let's see if that's an actual word, because I've just never heard it.
Superabound.
Superabound. I'm so dumb. Superabound. Okay. Be very or too abundant. Like he has a lot, but he still has nothing to do. A space is made by telephone. They thought time would be overthrown. And they compiled a wish list from Mars duels to a dish kissed. I tried to talk to the ishist, but he was debating with his clone. I superabound, but I still got nothing to do. Well, they thought it was a coup, but they still got nothing to do. You must see my domicile. I had it built in Deca style. The other day at the potlatch, potlatch, I was visiting was a Sasquatch. He said, although I'm mismatched, could I stay here just a while? You're out of dress code. The Sasquatch came. He's out of dress code, but he said, can I stay a while? Because the likes of us are few. Yeah, we still got nothing to do. I superabound, and I still got nothing to do. Even with all these interesting things, Sasquatch is coming to visit you. You're still bored. You still just have nothing to do. Idle hands make the Sasquatches work. Let's move on to the next one, which is the rest of the album is like all 2-minute tracks, basically. So I'm just going to hit them all. Not all of them at the same time, but probably in twos, I think. They're all like around 2 minutes long. Big Red and then Space is going to do me good. Here we go. Isn't Big Red a drink or a gum?
Have you heard about Big Red? They even brought a big red rig to help the flowers in the mean space. They're trying to make that place green. Hope the bees will take away the storm. Hope the trees will take away the storm. Don't know how this whole thing started. There was a crowd and then we parted. Don't know if I'll ever go back. It's a long way across all of this black. Here I am in my bucket today, in the middle.
I like his singing with the synth underneath him.
In the middle.
Almost sounded like violin for a moment.
They got a mule they call Sal, bulldozing up canal walls. They're gonna tap that
keeps on bringing that different voice in. Whispery and gritty.
And the weather is really getting warm.
I hear you on that.
Don't know how this whole thing started. There was a cloud and then it parted. Don't know if I'll ever go back. That's how it felt when I left that tarmac. Here I am in my bucket today, in the middle. Here I am in my bucket today, in the middle.
I like how cheerful and happy and upbeat this track was. Space is gonna do me good.
The islands of Phoenix in 2016 are making it up with hardihood. I'm done with the dog matters. I'm doing the catapult. I've been meaning to get out of Hollywood. Space is gonna do me good.
Let's get out of there.
Space is gonna do me good. It's not you I don't like. No, the boy is the same. I'm taking the turnpike. There's no point into blame. Oh yeah.
I love those tracks.
Space is gonna do me good. Oh, space is gonna do me good. It's not you I don't like.
I like how playful
No,
this
the
is.
boy is the same. I'm taking the turnpike. There's no point into blame. Oh yeah. The words of the man Ray. If you wanna stay tan, better to do it with a toy or a game. Oh yeah.
I like don't laugh at me. I like the space in Space is gonna do me good because it does feel more open. It does feel more relaxed. And just as lyrically he's describing needing to get away and get to some place that has a little bit more space, the music has an open feel to it. I like how the horns, I'm assuming that those are synth horns. I don't see actual horns credited anywhere. I like how those horns almost act as celebration, and the horns are heralding him leaving and getting into this new place and moving out into a place where he can have that space. So I like that positive, kind of happy, upbeat tone that the music's taking. And you get a similar thing with Big Red. I actually think these songs are both very comparable in that they're both kind of positive feeling, very sunny. They're upbeats in their own way. And I think they both actually work really well together in mood. I still think that although these two tracks are good, I still don't feel like they're hitting like heights. Am I going to go as far as to say that these two tracks feel like filler? I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, but I'm saying a little bit, maybe. There could be some trimming on the album. There could be some trimming. Have you heard about Big Red? Was that Clifford? They even bought a bee bread rig to help the flowers in the mean space. They're trying to make that place green. Hope the bees will take away the storm. Hope the trees will take away the storm. Don't know how this whole thing started. There was a crowd and then we parted. Don't know if I'll ever go back. It's a long way across all of this black. Here I am in my bucket today in the middle. Here I am in the bucket today in the middle. So what is Big Red? To me, that'd be the question. They brought bees to help. They brought flowers to help. So what is Big Red? They got a mule they call Sal bulldozing up canal walls. They're going to tap that ice cap too. When they do, they're going to make that green map blue. They're going to tap that ice cap too. Is this the ice caps are melting? The map was green, but now it'll be blue. The weather is finally getting warm. Could it be a climate change? The weather's finally getting warm. The weather's really, really getting warm. Yeah, tell me about it. This thing tell you how the weather is? It's hot. Don't know how this whole thing started. There was a cloud, and then it parted. So before there's a crowd, now there's a cloud. Don't know if I'll ever go back. That's how I felt when I left the tarmac. Here I am in my bucket today in the middle. Bucket of water. I think this might be talking about climate change. Global warming. The ice cap's melting. That's what I'm feeling from it. What is Big Red? Could be whatever's causing that heat, man. Space is going to do me good. The islands of Phoenix in 2016 are making it up with Hardywood. I'm done with adult matters. I'm doing the catapult. He's getting out of there. I've been meaning to get out of Hollywood. Space is going to do me good. It's not you I don't like. No, the boy is the same. I'm taking the turnpike. There's no point in to blame. He's saying, I'm gone. It's not you I don't like. No, the boy is the same. Words of the man Ray, if you want to stay tanned, better to do it with a toy or a game. Better to do it with a toy or a game. Better to stay tanned with a toy or a game. Not quite sure about that line. But either way, he's trying to get out of there. That is 100% for sure. He's done with this place. Let's move on into the next tracks, which are going to be White Noise Maker and then Pure Denison of the Citizens Band. Here we go. Could be a Gary Newman tune.
I hear a lot of talk, so I'm headed for the stereo store to get a white noise maker and turn it up to 10.
I love how this one sounds.
Or maybe the interior
Darkness.
of somewhere like Siberia. Yeah, the yak is back again, like harvest moon over my head. Yes, it was that billboard clothes shining on me, and it shines because it's been so long since my tail star. I hope it crashes in the sea.
Nice solo in the middle, striking up a conversation.
Or maybe the interior
The verse I like a lot.
of somewhere like Siberia.
That word.
Yakety yak is back again. You know I hear a lot of talk, so I'm headed for the stereo store to get a white noise maker and turn it up to 10. Like harvest moon on my head. Yes, it was that billboard clothes shining on me, and it shines because it's been so long since my tail star.
I like the way he sings the Telstar part.
I hope it
ripping into it.
crashes in the sea.
You know what? Let me stop it here really quick. This was a really good one. I love the combination of that riff and its kind of darker side along with the organ. That is one, I'm going to say one more time, the perfect relationship between the guitar and the keys. It just works so brilliantly. I love when the music opens up. I love the little riff that Francis brings in. Just to kind of provide a kind of sharp staccato momentum in that particular section. This worked really, really well. I love the whole mysteriousness that's built up in the verse. I was going to let these two go together, but I wanted to talk about that one just a little bit really quick. I just thought this was a nice one here at this point, you know, when I've been using the F word recently. I thought this was a nice one to kind of break away a little bit. You know, I hear a lot of talk, so I'm heading for the stereo store to get a white noisemaker and turn it up to 10. Or maybe the interior of somewhere like Siberia. Yeah, the yak is back again. Like Harvest Moon over my head, yes it was, that Billboard Pro shining on me, and it shines because it's been so long since my Telstar. I hope it crashes into the sea. I don't know what a Telstar is. I'm going to click on this annotation. Telstar is the name of various communication satellites. Okay, successfully related through space, the first television pictures, telephone calls, and telegraph images, and provided the first live transatlantic television feed. Okay. So he hopes that this satellite crashes into the sea. Or maybe the interior, somewhere like Siberia. You know, I hear a lot of talk, so I'm heading to the stereo store to get a white noisemaker and turn it up to 10. He wants to drown all of the noise out. And he repeats this from here. He's trying to drown all the noise out, all the voices out, all the satellite transcommunications. He's done with it. Just put some tinfoil on your head, man. All right, let's move on to the next track. Now I'm going to let the next huge play. It's Pure Denison of the Citizens Band and Bad Wicked World. Here we go.
I wanna ask you fellas, why do you shut me out when I've driven every place that they call land? I talk plain talk, I've seen the moon sitting on the road, and I don't
Scratchy
know
guitar.
Chateaubriand. And I drive my car on the same stars where the miles are come back as a man. Dear gentlemen, please let me in. I don't know how I can make you understand. I'm a pure denizen of the Citizens Band.
I wonder if Green Day had any influence from this.
Pure denizen of the Citizens Band. I'm a pure denizen of the Citizens Band. I'm a pure denizen of the Citizens Band.
It's like a surf rock riff came in. Totally. Up in there. The transmission was just going off there at the very end. This sounds like Buzzcocks or something.
Bad wicked world, bad wicked world. They are about just to deceive conquistadores that have been sent. Bad wicked world.
This is the punk
Bad
song.
wicked world. Some sell him out, some won't believe. An architect named David Vincent. A man too long without sleep. He took a wrong turn, people just laughed. The shit that is not there, but he knows that it was. It made a light in the buzz. He's really hurt because people people don't care. People think it's creep. He will not stop, he keeps on talking. Just a tiny suit, he's alone like a sweater. Fist one crusader, against the invaders won't be mute. Bad wicked world, bad wicked world. Some sell him out, some won't believe. An architect named David Denison.
What kind of weird sound is that? I can't even guess what's making that sound. I know what's making that sound.
Bad wicked world. They are about this to deceive. These stories that have been sent about once a week. Another story is leaked and is on it. Just a suit and a tie will ever end. He hasn't got a friend because that won't bear the real must try. Bad wicked world. Some sell him out, some won't believe. Architect David Denison.
Bad Wicked World is definitely like the punk song of the album. This one's like straight punk, no lit up, no anything like that. And I think that it's okay. Pure Denison and the Citizens Band, I thought that was really cool, especially that change up halfway when it moves into like that kind of surf rock riff, but it feels heavier and harder. That was really, really cool. I like that switch up. And I liked what it was doing before that, but when it got into that, I was like, ooh, this is really good. So I'm getting a case right here at this point in the album where White Noisemaker, good. Denison and the Citizens Band, good. Bad Wicked World, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's fine. It's fine. Like as a punk song, it's fine. It's not really that interesting. It's not one of the better punk songs I've heard. It's okay. But Denison, I thought was quite nice, especially as it moved into that riff there at the end. Let's look at a couple of these lyrics first with Pure Denison. I want to ask you fellers, why do you shut me out when I've driven every place that they called land? I talk plain talk, I've seen the moon sitting on the road, and I don't eat no Chateaubriand. No, none of that bread. And I drive my car under the same stars where the miles are. Come back, I demand. Dear gentlemen, please let me in. I don't know how I can make you understand. I'm a pure Denison of the Citizens Band. He's pleading his case, saying he's part of the Citizens Band, but they're not letting him in. Hey friend, you know what I'd do if I was making the bucks? I'd move me to a place where all they had was trucks. Because there's one thing I cannot stand, and that's when the music keeps on kind of cutting in and out. So he's asking to be, a part of something. He says the Plain Citizens Band. What does that represent exactly? Maybe on one hand, before he was preaching about not conforming while at the same time conforming to something else, this kind of seems to be the opposite, where he's trying to be lit into this specific group, whatever it may represent. So I like how there's that, I'm a rebel, I want to not conform, but at the same time, I want to conform and I want to be part of it. And then there's one thing I cannot stand. I'm going to click it. The one thing he cannot stand is cars. According to a member of the Frank Black Forum, on an acoustic performance, Frank continued to thought, there's one thing I cannot stand, those little four-wheelers. Maybe that's what he's talking about with the trucks. I have no idea how that relates to the song, but we'll allow it. Let's move on to the lyrics of Bad Wicked World. Bad Wicked World. They are about dressed to deceive conquistadors that have been sent. Bad Wicked World. Some sell him out, some won't believe. An architect named David Vincent. If you'll allow me, I'm just trying to gather some information and context. Voice actor, musician. Maybe it's the voice actor? No, that's a recent voice actor. Maybe it's this musician? Lead vocalist of Morbid Angel? We've listened to them, but I don't think this can't. An architect. It has to be about an architect. Vincent Architect? The Invaders? Is that what this is? The Invaders, David. Okay. American Science Fiction, 1967-68. Okay. Roy Tynes stars as David Vincent, who, after stumbling across evidence of an in-progress invasion of aliens, the aliens disguising themselves as humans and gradually infiltrating human institutions, tries to thwart the invasion, despite the disbelief of officials. Okay. Some sell him out, some won't believe. An architect. Okay, now it's making sense. A man too long without sleep. He took a wrong turn and people just laughed. A ship that is not there, but he knows that it was. It made a light and a buzz. He's really hurting because people don't care. He's just trying. He's the first man in black. He's trying to tell you that aliens are here. No one's believing him. People think he's a creep. He won't stop. He keeps talking. Just a tie and a suit. He's a low-life persuader. Fist-throwing crusader against invaders. But he won't be mute. So that's what this whole song is about. It's just about this show, The Invaders. About once a week, just another story is leaked and he's on it. Just a suit and a tie. Will it ever end? He hasn't got a friend. Pinkies that won't bend. He really must try. That must be sort of inside joke with the show. He's just trying. Now, if you'll allow me, if you'll indulge me, I should say. My internet's a little slow. Not gonna lie. If you'll just indulge me a little bit.
Next, The Invaders in color.
Watch this whole video get copyright blocked because I played this.
The Invaders.
I'm just curious. I've never heard of it.
A Quinn Martin production. Starring Roy Thinnis as architect David Vincent.
There you go. Look at the graphics.
The invaders. Alien beings from a dying planet. Their destination, the Earth. Their purpose, to make it their world.
They look kind of like us. What's the problem?
David Vincent has seen them. For him, it began one lost night on a lonely country road looking for a shortcut.
Every
He
time.
never found.
Every time.
It began with a closed, deserted diner.
It's a classy car, though.
And a man too long without sleep to continue his journey.
That's why the lyric said he was lacking
It
sleep.
began with the landing of a craft from another galaxy. Now,
Look at
David
the
Vincent
graphics.
knows that the invaders are here, that they have taken human form. Somehow he must convince a disbelieving world that the nightmare has already begun.
Dun, dun, dun.
The guest stars in tonight's story, Jack Lord,
Okay, we're not gonna watch the whole thing. All right. I just wanted to get in. I've just never heard of it. Just wanted to see a little bit about it. Okay, let's move on into the final track of the album, which is "Pie in the Sky." My guy. Let's go. Rowdy.
Takes photon power and 8 minutes of an hour to make it to our sun. And I know it sounds weird, but it'll take 4 years to make the next one. Expanding border, that's the sauce of chaos, and that's an order. That's an order. So stomp your feet and clap your hands, get out of your seat and do a little dance. Lift up your voice and sing with glee. Now listen carefully to me. Desert your quarters, they hold a pie in the sky, and that's an order. 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 That's an order.
Leading up to the end, huh? Ends with the bang. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the full album reaction. Frank Black, Teenager of the Year. Prom Queen, Prom King, it's all about you. Ending the album with a very much straightforward, kind of hard rocker punk edge song. There's no frills about this one. It's just straight and direct. And I think that lyrically and even musically, it definitely has that conclusive kind of sound to it. I mean, the lyrics, you know, just a super quick. It takes photon power in 8 minutes of an hour to make it to our sun. And I know it sounds weird, but it'll take you 4 years to make the next one. I feel like in some capacity, he's also kind of fourth wall breaking and talking about perhaps his next album or, you know, the next release of music. Expanding border, that's the sauce of chaos, and that's an order, that's an order. So stomp your feet, you clearly hear it, a little ant music in there. Clap your hands, get out of your seat and do a little dance. Lift up your voice, sing with glee. Now listen carefully to me. Desert your quarters, behold the pie in the sky. That's an order, that's an order. He's ordering us to look at that pie in the sky, look ahead to beautiful and better things ahead of us. Not always down in the trenches, but up above. It's a little slice of apple pie a la mode. Now, even though the song itself has that, you know, nice kind of roundup feel to it, I still think that it's an okay song. I still don't, you know, at this point, I'm like, okay. It concluded nicely, but it's still not hitting some of the high marks that I think the rest of this album has. So, in conclusion, as we move towards the ending, let's go ahead and look at the Wikipedia page for this album, because we didn't even read about it here. It says the album, of course, reached number 2 on Billboard's Heat Seekers and number 131 on the Billboard 294. The single, of course, Headache, reached number 10 on the Modern Rocks charts. Although not originally well received, the record is now widely praised by both critics and fans. It is often cited as a high point of Francis post-Pixies catalog and was ranked 94 on Pitchfork's Top 100 Albums of the 1990s. And it's included on the 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. I should probably look into that, huh? Anyways, I think that as a whole, this is a good album with good quality music. I still think that it's a little bloated and that it could have definitely been cut, or some of the songs could have been cut a little bit. But that's also my personal bias because, you know, I can't think of many albums that I listen to that are past like 15 tracks. You know, I think at a certain point you're getting into filler kind of territory. And I think that the quality of most of these songs, like 90% of it, is really high. The quality is high regardless of if I like it all or not. But I do think there's a few songs that could be cut out of this one. My favorite songs, I would say very, very easily. I would say easily Freedom Rock is my favorite song, as if it wasn't obvious. Below that, I actually really like The Vanishing Spies and Two Reelers. Maybe White Noisemaker or Pong. I'd have to listen to it again. But at least top 3, Freedom Rock, Vanishing Spies, and Two Reelers. I really enjoyed those 3 tracks there. I'd say the most. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. So, thank you all so much for watching, especially if you watched to this point. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I appreciate you staying in here and enjoying the music, hopefully. And I would think that if you're still watching at 2 hours and 17 minutes, you probably enjoyed something. I hope. Or else you just hate watching. Don't hate. That's not good. Thank you so much for being here. Dustin, once again, thank you so much for the support. Thank you really much for the recommendation as well. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please come back tomorrow. Hope to see you all then. And I will see you all later. Bye, guys.